All right, guys, it is time for us to wrap up this pre-show.
Don't forget to stay tuned for our post-show featuring a deep dive into the world of Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Thanks a lot for watching this pre-show and enjoy Ubisoft Forward.
Let's go. Spravování vesnice nebylo v tom Valhalla demo. Ještě skryuji alerty, mluvím a může mít. Máme pilepťáka, ani to nezačalo. Můj bože.
This is Ubisoft. This is Ubisoft Forward. Explore our worlds.
Meet the devs. See the
Devs.
games.
Join us.
Hi everyone, I'm Neelam Kumar and I'm very excited to be co-hosting the first Ubisoft Forward with the talented Yusuf Mageed. Today's show is all about getting up close and in-depth with all the exciting games we have in production here at Ubisoft.
I'm Yusuf, but there's no time to waste. So let's head straight for the streets of futuristic London and see what the hackers of DedSec are getting into.
Co se děje v DedSecu?
The illegal paintings spreading subversive and hostile messaging over the last few weeks across London are not the work of several people as was originally believed, but the work of an individual. The criminal suspected to have links with the terrorist group
Končil by krásný pornáče jako Kevina Perry, klub sráčů.
Authorities recommend not to approach the individual.
Vítejte v Londýně.
First, they came
Počkej, takhle vypadá Londýn normálně?
Proč
na to dělají hru?
I was not a foreigner. Then they came for the protesters. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a protester. Then they came for the journalists. And I did not speak out. Because I was not a journalist. And then they came for street artists. But I did not speak out. Because I am not a street artist. For me, and there would be no one left to speak for me.
Right! Oh, gosh, where are we off to, sir?
It's fine! I'll show you the way!
Okay, sorry, miss. All right, so we're in a total mess now, so let's get the hell out of here.
Já tak lituju, ty vole, jestli někdo před streamem si dal ty vole jointa nebo tripa, ten teď musí být úplně v prdeli, ten teď slintá na pohovce a volá sanitku. The hole in the pocket. To zní jako dobrý klub.
London is in chaos. The main arteries through the city are blocked. Hundreds of heavily armed Albion.
Well. Welcome to the Resistance. Here's a welcome gift for our new members.
But the disappearance of the criminal...
You could have told me it was a bloody costume party.
Try it on.
The new key suspect has been identified as David Ford, a 43-year-old London taxi driver.
Počkej, taxikář pomohl kriminálníkovi utíct do baru a tam ho zverbovali. Co mi to připomíná, boys? Jakou hru mi to připomíná?
I'm Clint Hawking.
To je Petr Rychlej!
Clint has been a long-time creative force here at Ubisoft, and now he's bringing this vision to Watch Dogs Legion.
So yeah, what we just saw was an amazing short film by the director Alberto Mielgo that was inspired by Watch Dogs Legion and looks at the game and the universe and the characters through his incredible artistic vision and visual style.
The city needs a resistance.
Like the film, Watch Dogs Legion tells the story of ordinary heroes setting aside their differences in order to come together as a collective and to fight for a positive change. You can literally recruit and play anyone who you see in the open world. You profile people that are interesting to you, you help them with their problem, you play their origin mission.
Just help me get some closure and I'll do whatever you want.
Sounds like a DedSec problem. Leave it to us.
And that's how you recruit them into your team. And then they become the heroes of the game and the stars of your story.
And what are you doing in my flat? You with Albion?
Please, think more underground.
You with Albion?
I'm tickled, but think more underground.
What, DedSec?
Nehrál jsem za žádného důchodce v tom demo, protože jsem žádného nenašel.
And they make the story not only, unique to them, but unique to you as the player and personal to you because they're, heroes that you've chosen and invested in. What would I say to fans? I guess I'd say, take care of yourselves, stay safe. Welcome to the Resistance.
Prasečí masku má každá vaše
London
postava.
town. A modern metropolis. Built on history and prosperity. Only took 12,000 years to build it up, and one night to tear it all down.
Oh my God. Listen up. Get all your units to move in and lock down the city.
With London under attack by a mysterious terrorist, the government turns to a private military company called Albion to keep everyone safe. What could possibly go wrong? Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Nigel Cass, CEO of Albion. He's kindly stepped up to establish order.
Understand this. I will not allow anyone, not even myself, to jeopardize this.
He will stop at nothing to permanently control the city.
London will be the first city in the world to be made truly safe.
Nigel's not the only opportunist who's taken a liking to this fair city. Meet Mary Kelly, head of the most powerful crime syndicate in London.
Be sure and spread the word.
She and her goons are using the dark web to sell everything from party pills to people.
This microchip is scary, I know, but I got to keep tracks on my merchandise, don't I?
You made me a slave.
You do not want to ruffle her feathers. With the city out on its arse, it now falls on you to build a resistance and take back London.
All right, everyone. Faces on, guns out.
Any of the brave Londoners you see walking the streets can be recruited into your team. Like him. Her. Or even her. Everyone could become your next secret weapon. In our first mission, we need to get some dirt on Nigel Cass, and that means breaking into Albion headquarters inside the Tower of London. All the hardy souls you see here are people we have recruited from the streets of London. They all have unique abilities, and you're free to tackle this mission with whoever you like.
Dear God, my eyes. Mikey! Zip up, get to work, and let's never talk about this again.
Like everyone in DedSec, Arthur can hack pretty much whatever. But as a construction worker, he has a particular set of tools that make him handy. He can even call his own cargo drone.
Ale je to, o čem mluvím.
Perfect for gate crashing, when you're not invited. And who needs a regular old gun when you have a bloody nail gun?
Come here, you soy-eyed shit boy. Jesus Christ, what is that thing?
Perhaps we could approach this mission differently. If you'd rather keep your distance, we've got you covered. Amy is a drone expert.
What have we here?
A real tech connoisseur.
Hate spiders, but love this one.
What an adorable creepy crawler.
Here we are. Let's class the place up.
A drone expert does have the unique ability to summon their own drone. This little darling is fast and stealthy.
She aims, she fires, she hits.
I'm reading incoming drones.
She can also hack enemy drones, turning the tide in her favor. And if you are not into direct confrontation, there are more ways than one to get the job done.
Toho hitmana, ten má ruský přízvuk, ten je skvělej. To je Igor.
But it'll get you inside restricted Albion areas.
Don't mind me, just doing recon for a bunch of insurgents.
However, do anything suspicious and she'll probably wind up with a bullet in the back of her head.
You've been approved for entry.
We're missing the human element here. I can get the defense minister on the line right now.
Well, if you feel you must.
Criminals running our streets, illegals threatening our families, the police commissioner himself, assassinated by terrorists.
Well, that seems to be enough evidence. Next up, we're crashing Mary Kelly's organ farming operation and putting a stop to it.
That's good. The buyers expect high quality stuff.
And we need a hard nut for this.
Impairing our frontal lobe again, are we?
Bags, don't disturb me in my natural habitat.
Say hello to Mickey. The man lives for his team.
That put another hair on my chest.
Ty píčo, můžeš hrát za fotbalovýho fanouška.
He does have a slight drinking problem, though.
Hey, kokot.
And he's passed out. Ah, well...
Jak se do Ubisoft konference dostal Mad Monk Party footage? What the fuck?
Let's go with someone a bit more professional.
Co to, kámo, nedropnou tam Johna Wicka zrovna, že ne?
It's almost crass to call him a hitman. Some might even call him an artist.
Tohle týpka jsem hrál, no. Ten má útočnou pušku.
Here's the bastard responsible.
Což ostatní nemají, takže potom jako ta palebná síla, to je něco jiného.
Not bad if I do say so, innit?
Not everyone in London is a legendary assassin or a super spy, but everyone can be a hero. So get out there, find the best recruits, and build your resistance. It's time to take back London.
Máte rozdíl mezi Cyberpunkem a Watch Dogs Legion je v jedné hře je Keanu Reeves, ve druhé jsou reference na Keanu Reevese.
Has always been a central pillar of the Watch Dogs series.
So what goes into building those worlds? Here's Amanda Munt to tell us more.
My name's Amanda Munt. I'm a level artist on Watch Dogs Legion at Ubisoft Toronto. Being a level artist, I think, is the coolest job in video games because we do get the freedom to kind of like pick and choose what little details we want to depict, and we get ample opportunities to tell the stories that we want to tell in the spaces that we're assigned to. I have the capacity to hide things and, you know, like small little Easter eggs. In AC Unity, there was a boat somewhere in the world that was covered in cats. And then it happened again in Watch Dogs 2. And there may or may not be something in London that is a boat filled with cats in some capacity. So I was fortunate enough to go to E3 last year. Some of the people that I was showing our demo to were from London. So no matter where I dropped them in the city, they'd go, oh my God, this feels like Camden. This, you know, this feels like Southwark. This feels like Westminster. When people are talking about some detail that I've put into the world and they're excited about it, like that feels so good as somebody who, you know, builds these worlds with care. I love it.
And now some news for Brawlhalla fans. In just a few weeks, you'll be able to battle it out with your favorite legends on iOS and Android devices.
Brawlhalla den na moby.
Three, two, one, brawl!
No, je to free to play, hej, takže... Ano, ideální hra na hajzlíku. To dám Melicharovi, ať si to zahraje na hajzlíku, až tam bude zrovna dostávat ven tu papričku. Již tuto sobotu, 18.7. Dostaneš... medvědí skin, můžeš být fury.
Whether you need a Tom Clancy action fix on the go, or want to dive back into one of the most beloved fantasy franchises in gaming, we've got you covered.
Vypni si Spotify. Aha, mě hraje celou dobu Spotify na pozadí, já se nevypnul ty Prodigy. Zloně sešel přes tu prezentaci a bude mi ještě hučí PS4. To je Raid Shadow Legends! Konečně dobrá hra do píči! No ty vole! Ben Cannon říká, že to je funny. Dan Andrew říká, že tohle je nejlepší mobilní hra s revoluční grafikou, která není pay to win a platí skvěle komukoliv, kdo to promuje. Let's go! Chat, jestli ukážu novýho Splinter Cella na mobily, tenhle ovladač prohodím monitorem.
Contact! Moat chain is down. Request air support. Target northeast rooftop.
Roger. Inbound. Danger close.
I need an EMP deployed now.
EMP imminent.
Ten sápek z toho, ne? Z... Wildlands.
Get back in your cell! Hey, take this.
Don't make me regret this.
Oh.
Speaking of Tom Clancy, it's been
Viděl jsem
5
právě
years
sama
since Rainbow
Fishera
Six
v
Siege
mobilní
first
videohře.
launched, and the community has never been stronger.
Viděl
In
jsem právě sama
celebration of
Fishera v
this
mobilní
milestone,
videohře.
Ubisoft Montreal has put together a special video to thank all of the amazing players and developers that have helped Siege become the game it is today.
Of course. Fakt super.
In December 2015, a small team released Rainbow Six Siege.
To si pamatuju. Já to hrál, než to bylo
A game built on a strong vision, creativity, competitiveness, and team play.
Pour le joueur, le 1er décembre, c'est un début, mais pour nous aussi. Il faut tout de suite s'engager et dire aux joueurs, ce jeu est installé, tu peux t'y installer aussi, et nous serons là.
That original vision was quickly adopted by our passionate community, propelling it to a whole new level.
I got it!
This is such a special moment, and being at 1 year anniversary of Rainbow Six now, game being stronger than ever, and more players today than we had in the past, it means the world to us.
But we also had our share of challenges.
Health that touches upon subjects like matchmaking, connectivity, all those aspects are absolutely critical to the experience of the player.
Through it all, we're always driven by you, our community, and together, we grow stronger.
There is no sequel plan, and we're here for the next 10 years, so expect more Rainbow Six in your life for quite some time.
Look at this.
Tous les succès, c'est vraiment le résultat de autant de nous que de vous. Ce jeu, il est autant le vôtre qu'il est le nôtre, nous, l'équipe de développement.
Now 60 million players strong, we're just getting started. From the devs that build the game to the community that plays it, thank you.
Dostaneš vlastní kladivo, když vyhraješ, to je docela nice. To je lepší než pohár, tyjo.
If you haven't tried it yet, dive into our new Operation Steel Wave update available now and take Ace and Malusi out for a spin.
A few days ago, we introduced y'all to a brand new multiplayer shooter. Now, it's time to venture into the Hyperscape.
Ano, Hyperscape, na něm mi padnul klíč, který nejde aktivovat v České republice, takže díky moc, Ubisofte. Úžasně jsem si zahrál tu hru.
What was that? A hack in the Hyperscape. That's not supposed to be there. Let me get you all up to speed, okay? About 30 years ago, everything that we feared about our future started to come true. We made some good decisions. We made some bad decisions. Actually, we made a lot of bad decisions.
Cyberkrávy.
10 billion souls living in the crush of the megacities. But the people at Prisma changed everything. They gave everyone a way out. The Hyperscape. In the Hyperscape, the biggest draw by far is Crown Rush. This is where anyone can become someone.
Takže Ready Player One Battle Royale.
If you get good at Crown Rush, it can change your life. But strange things have been happening lately. Rumors of people getting hurt. Users disappearing from the real world.
Hackuje to Twitch chat.
A darker secret lies at the heart of Hyperscape. And we have to find it. Some of us are searching for a way up. Some of us for a way out. And for others, a new way altogether. That's what brings us to the edge of the future. To the Hyperscape.
I'm JC, Creative Director on Hyperscape.
JC's work on Far Cry Primal and multiple Prince of Persia titles has established him as a top creative here at Ubisoft.
Takže lidi, co pracovali na Perském princovi, tak teď musí dělat Battle Royale hry.
Seeing it grow, adding ideas is really cool.
Hello, contender.
Welcome to the Hyperscape.
The game takes place in 2054. It's in a future where humanity has grown a little darker. One of the companies there, they are launching what's called the Hyperscape, which is a virtual world and the internet of the future. It's the place where everything converges. Within the virtual world, there is a battle royale that takes place in the virtual city of Neo Arcadia.
Proč všechny hry, které zatím ukázali, byly hipster? Hele, přesně jak říkal Trevor v GTA 5, jenom hipsterům vadí hipsteři.
It's much more narrow, much more stressful. You get to go to the landmarks where there's more opportunities to get cool items, but also more players, so it's a risk-reward kind of deal.
Vlastně to říkal Michael Trevorovi, když Trevor měl svůj klasický outrage.
Special abilities that you can pick up on the fly to adapt your tactics. With hacks, you can do things like teleport yourself, you can wrap yourself into a ball and bounce around the battlefield. So a lot of abilities that let you have fun, that are toys that you can play with. And finally, it's made as a spectacle, so all the viewers will be able to interact with the game on different levels through the Twitch extension.
Twitch extension,
so every few minutes, there's going to be a vote, and viewers will be able to decide what effect they want to affect the whole battle. So things like changing the gravity, infinite ammo, or stuff like that. So players, while this happens, really have to adapt to all kinds of stuff that is happening. So for me, it's really exciting because right now, as we speak, we're launching the open beta, and so it's going to be available for free to play.
Představ si, že by tohle bylo v God Warzone. Už bychom vyhrávali, teď ty vole už nám padá krásný loadout drop a Twitch chat by smazal ten loadout drop. Nikdy bych nic nevyhrál.
Here's a short glimpse of what you can expect.
Hej, co ještě ukradnou z toho Cyberpunku? Oni jim nejdřív šmajzlou Johna Wicka. A teď jim kradou už aj ty vole Hyper.
Let's show them what I'm made of. Go time.
Ubisoft do všech svých her rozprostře to, co CD Projekt má v jednom Cyberpunku, očividně. Už jenom jako podle toho rozložení referencí a hudby. Okay. Jako, hele, až tohle zpřístupní v České republice, tak dáme duo s Viktorem. Viktore, funguje ti to na Xboxu, už to zkoušel? Jo, ono bude open beta, no vidíš to. 30 týrů Battle Passu, pogers. Už v betě Battle Pass, no tak to je paráda.
Artists and developers incredible freedom when it came to designing characters.
Production manager Anna Maria Muska is going to take us behind the scenes of character design.
My name is Anna Maria Muska. I'm the production manager for characters and weapons on Hyperscape. We have paid an exceptional amount of detail to our characters. We switch different outfits, different fashion statements, different tattoos, different materials until we see them as real individuals, as real people. So the second you pick a character, you see them in game, you understand what their motivations are and what drives them and what challenges them.
Takže oni mají všichni tak uklizený ty stoly.
Lineup of characters. This is our default base, but Even starting from the hair down, everything has been meticulously thought of. Would this person actually like this type of outfit? Would this person enjoy the type of tattoos that we're putting on them? Will they actually like to be in this body? Each season, we plan to produce new outfits for these characters. So we're hoping some of our players are gonna see the effort and maybe even correlate some of the accessories to what's gonna happen in the game. We're very excited to see it in people's hands.
As we move into the next generation of gaming, Ubisoft has been working closely with console makers to take advantage of all the extraordinary capabilities these new consoles will offer.
Now we have a special guest to tell us a little more.
Phil Spencer.
Hey everyone, Phil Spencer from Xbox. With Watch Dogs Legion, Ubisoft is supporting smart delivery. So you will get the absolute best version of the game on any version of Xbox you're playing on. On Series X, you'll get to take advantage of the amazing work the team has done with DirectX ray tracing to create an absolutely immersive version of London like you've never seen before. Ubisoft has a unique ability to create immersive worlds, setting a new bar that continues to drive our industry forward. I'm a huge fan of Assassin's Creed.
Phil vypadá, jak kdyby to točil v tom samém tričku, co točil tu Devolver konferenci.
And I can't wait for you to see the gameplay from Assassin's Creed Valhalla that's coming up now.
Phil už tam u toho usíná. Ještě jedna konference, kámo, ve který musím říct, že Xbox bude dostávat hry i na novej zdarma.
My name is Julien and I'm the producer of Assassin's Creed Valhalla. So a couple of weeks ago, we announced Assassin's Creed Valhalla, and the reaction from the fans was just amazing. The time period of Vikings is really, really inspiring. When we did our research, we found that, you know, they were not mindless barbarians. Vikings were actually farmers trying to find new lands for them to settle. And so they had really human motivations. So for us to have this opportunity to tell kind of the real story about Vikings and kind of separate ourselves from the myths and the folklore is really something that drove us to make this game. The team went to Norway and England to take the same roads that the Vikings did, to really experience what it meant to be a Viking at that time. And then leaving Norway, which is barren but majestic, and just coming by boat in England and see those rolling green hills full of sheep, full of life, is just this moment that most likely the Vikings felt as well. You need to see this land of opportunity. And this is exactly the feeling we want players to experience in this game. It is a personal adventure, you know, it is the story of Eivor, a Viking chieftain. Eivor is either a male or a female. You decide when you start the game. They will have to leave Norway to settle in England because you just can't live in Norway anymore. There's too much political pressure, no resources available.
Já jsem to svoje demo Valhaly hrál za chlapa, protože jsem chtěl vidět gay sex, který byl v tom demo. Omrdal jsem dalšího vikinga a bylo to hot!
To kind of build your own settlement and see your clan prosper. Vikings were brutal warriors.
Shields!
And the fact that they were mastering a lot of weapons coming from the medieval times really inspired us to kind of revamp the fight system, to leverage the brutality and the intensity of Viking combat. Vikings were not only fighting face-to-face, they were masters of stealth and deception when needed. They used basically any sort of tactics they could use to win the battle. So we want to portray the full range of combat that you can imagine coming from the Vikings. We are very happy to finally be able to show you the game we've all been working on. So please enjoy this deep dive into Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Ten trailer je fake, protože těmhle 2metrovým cápkům actual gameplay nejde dát instakill Hidden Bladem mimochodem.
In Assassin's Creed
Hledá, že byste to měli fakt vylepšený a byli fakt level pod váma.
Of the Viking invasion of England. You play as Eivor, a Viking from Norway, who will lead his or her battle-hardened warriors across the North Sea to the British Isles. Eivor is driven by an ambitious goal, to build a thriving Norse settlement in a hostile land.
For the good of our clan, it is time we go a Viking. Today we raid, that tomorrow we may build.
England is a dark age tangle of broken kingdoms and warring dynasties, a land of opportunity and riches. As you prowl England's rivers by longship, you may raid locations you spot from the shoreline. Ground your ship and blow your horn to lead your raiding crew into battle.
Jo, animáci mají staminu a když jim ji vyčerpáte, tak jim můžete dát stun attack, který většinou dává instakill. Takže se hraje i na staminu a trochu jako posture v Sekiru možná.
Battering down doors and stealing cargo too heavy for one set of arms. Whatever riches and resources you pillage may be used to develop your settlement, giving you access to useful services, better tools, and new settlers. At the heart of your settlement is the Alliance map. It will serve as a record of the allies you have made, and a guide for future opportunities. The Viking Age was a time of warriors and legends. In Valhalla, you will find the largest variety of enemies ever assembled in an Assassin's Creed game. Every archetype offers a unique challenge. Some will coordinate with their allies for special attacks, while others will use nearby objects to their advantage, including the bodies of fallen warriors. To face these attacks, you must find and exploit your opponent's weaknesses to gain the upper hand. Take the fight to your foes with a host of brutal new combat abilities. Snare them with the Viking harpoon. Pummel them with throwing axes.
Lázecí sekerky byly v demo, ty dávali docela low damage.
System to keep them at a distance, or finish them off. Dual wield any two weapons you wish to unleash a deadly combination of attacks.
Což jsem chtěl zkusit do videa, abych to měl natočený, ale nenašel jsem nikde druhý
style as you see fit and become a legendary Viking warrior.
Ale měl jsem tam takový cool zemdy, který jako fakt byl boží.
Including two shields.
A mají vlastní kombíčka ty zbraně, rozlišný, což se mi hodně líbilo. No a o tomhle, ten kombat byl jako asi nejplynulejší zatím.
In this new land, a Viking must find a way to adapt. As Eivor is not welcome in England, you may need to outsmart your enemies, avoiding unwanted attention in towns and bustling cities. Use Eivor's hood and cloak to blend with crowds, and slip past watchful eyes, an unseen hunter among the people. From capital cities and villages to the dense forests and rolling hills of England, exploration is vital to keeping yourself sharp. You must feed off the land if you hope to endure. Hunt and forage to replenish your health and fortify your equipment.
Jsem tam hrál asi 3 boss fighty.
Search pagan temples and Roman ruins for new activities and challenges to strengthen yourself and your settlement. The more you explore, the more of England's secrets you will reveal.
Ravens, show no mercy!
But as you push deeper into England, the enemy will push back. In a series of climactic moments, Assassin's Creed Valhalla will feature massive assaults in which you will lead Eivor's army into battle against heavily guarded Saxon fortresses.
V tom dobývání můžete vždycky střílet lukem na různý zavěšený výbušniny nebo mosty. Můžete jich chytnout sami beranidlo a pomoct homies to prorazit bránu a tak podobně. Tenhle boss fight jsem hrál. To je ta blesková typka.
It will challenge and surprise with unforgettable characters, thrilling triumphs and tragic losses, giving you the chance to live your own Viking saga.
Jak je velká mapa? Hele, mapu jsme měli, já jsem měl jenom východní Anglii jako region dostupný. 17. takže ty víky byly pravdivý. 17. listopadu.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
Počkej, oni to fakt vydají 2 dny po Cyberpunku?
PlayStation 5,
nebo
Xbox
před?
One, PS4, PC and Stadia.
To jsou magoři. Oni fakt nechali to datum vydání 17. i potom, co Cyberpunk odsunuli. Takže vyjdou 2 obrovský RPGčka 2 dny od sebe. No mě mrdne.
And that you will love playing these games. I am proud of our teams for delivering an ambitious, broad and creative lineup of games. And we haven't shown you everything yet. In fact, we have a lot more to come. So you will have another Ubisoft Forward to reveal even more about our upcoming games. But before ending this show, we have one more thing to share with you.
Teď přijde Far Cry 6 trailer. Co? To není to... Je, dobrý, je to Far Cry. Kdy jsou holiday v listopadu. Ale v Americe začínají holidays jako zimní svátky, začínají už po díku vzdání. Je to, hele, Vánoce začínají v době, kdy v Kauflandu začínají prodávat Santa Clause a Ježíška čokoládový.
Fuerzas ultrapenetrantes, estamos cansados de los farsantes, de los...
Kámo, on fakt vypadá ten kluk jak mladej vás, ty vole.
It's beautiful, amigo. Perfect, but useless. I have something for you, Diego. Give me your hands.
Papa.
Now, the grenade is simple. It has 4 basic parts. The shell, which contains the explosive, the fuse, the handle, and of course, the pin.
What are you doing?
Breathe, Diego. Breathe. The pin simply holds the handle in place. It is only when you let go that this grenade goes boom. Follow me. Now. I am El Presidente, which means that someday you will be El Presidente. And our people, they do not know how to be happy. They are torn apart by opinions, noise, indecision, strangled by their own freedoms. And even if you have love in your heart, even if you want what's best for them, if you only want to save them from themselves, they will hate you, Diego. Everything you say, do, believe, will be wrong. They will answer you with screams, call you evil, a monster, and give you this. So you tell me, are you evil? Are you a monster? Because our country is like this grenade, except it has two basic parts. Our people and you must clutch them nice and tight, or we all go boom. You understand now? Prove it.
Čtyři dny po Valentínu, takže taky potvrzený, ten leak byl taky přesnej.
And with that, we're wrapping up our first Ubisoft Forward. Today, we've seen the next generation of Assassin's Creed, the birth of a resistance in Watch Dogs Legion, the cyber chaos of Hyperscape, and the epic reveal of Far Cry's newest installment, along with so much more.
Remember, we'll be back later this year with another Ubisoft Forward filled with tons of game news and updates.
Thanks for joining us.
Huh?
Hey everyone, welcome to the Ubisoft Forward post show. My name is Yusuf Magid, and this is Assassin's Creed Valhalla. We're going to take a deep dive into about 30 minutes of gameplay, and we're joined by a very special guest here.
Hey everyone, this is Philippe Bergeron, otherwise known as Fizz. I am the quest director on Assassin's Creed Valhalla.
So Fizz, we're setting up here for what looks like an epic encounter. Tell us exactly what's going on here.
Yeah, so here we're midway through the quest that we're showing for UB Forward. Here we're looking at the assault of Bird Castle. So these are big moments that usually sort of culminate at the end of the story. And so here Avar, our Viking raider, is taking a group of raiders and Fyrds into Bird Castle to go and take down Rued and his clan.
So who exactly is Rued, and why does Eivor sort of want to pick a fight with him?
Basically, Rued comes into play about halfway through this story arc, where at the beginning of the arc, this is something that happens before, Rued basically caused a lot of turmoil within the territory, and Oswald, who's the sort of elderman to inherit this territory, needs your help to take him down. Oswald having just been defeated in a previous quest, and so here this is revenge, but also accomplishing your ultimate goal.
So Fizz, as you're talking, we're seeing some of the combat of Valhalla. Can you tell us a little bit about the changes to combat this time around?
We wanted to basically add a lot of new mechanics to it. So we added like some dual wielding for the player, like a stun system in there. And we really needed to do this to sort of portray that sort of the brutality that comes with being a Viking in this day and age. So it sort of fits into that, the time and the character.
Čísla health bary tam logicky musí být před RPGčko. Kdyby si měl 40-hodinovou hru, kde by nebyly žádný health bary, tak to bude jako... To nebude moc jako fungovat, že jo?
Here, Eivor has taken her entire army through the assault, and finally, it's revealed that our elderman, our ally, Oswald, is still alive, and Rued has him captive.
So this is what it comes to, Wolfkist? 2 Danes fighting over a filthy Saxon whoreson?
Far Cry 6 má ve sběratelce plamenomet. Už ukázali kolektorky na webu.
So jsme o tom mluvili včera s Ubisoftem. We have Rued within our sights. What's the next step here?
So the next move for Eivor is to finally face off against Rued. She has her allies, they can take care of the rest of the army. Now it's time to go one-on-one against Rued in one of our boss battles, actually.
Your battle is not yet won, Oswald.
And it's worth pointing out, actually, that here what we're showing is the player going and facing off against Rued aggressively, but we tend to always have to support a 360-degree approach in these things. So the player could have approached this a little bit more stealthy and gotten at least like a good critical hit on either Rued or his wolf, and so you can play this a little bit more strategically.
So
we're not only fighting Rued here, but also his pet wolf, right?
Here, one of my preferred strategies is to eliminate the wolf first, just focus fire on him. It takes at least one opponent out of combat. Now Rued will have extra abilities that come into play if you do eliminate his wolf. But I think having one opponent less in the battlefield makes for a good strategy in a whole.
Mám to všechno na záznamu. Kdybych šel před soud, tak řeknou, bráško, máš pravdu. Zabanujte tadyhle z toho pochybovače. Forsen Smug, nějaký deltedy. Čímkoliv mu bere obyčejný vůdci, vole. Ukaž ten gay sex? Třeba ho ukážou teďko.
Do not drag me down to the sewage you wallow in.
Ten kombat je tak trhavej, kvůli tomu, že to hraju na Xboxu, sorry chat, musel jsem to říct. Já to hrál taky přes Xbox.
No! He should be tried before God, a lawful assembly.
Alright, so we've defeated Rued, we've freed Oswald.
Na nejsilnější konzoli na planetě,
Oswald in this case prefers for Rued to be kept alive, and so you basically have to choose, are you going to go against his wishes or stay true to your nature?
So we have this choice to make, but before we get into that, I want to rewind a little bit because we just did this big, grand assault, but Eivor couldn't have done it alone. She clearly had to recruit some folks along the way, get some troops, get some allies. So let's actually rewind and see how we went about first gathering those troops.
Right, so when coming up to an assault, it's a game of numbers. Eivor can go into pretty much any location and be a stealthy Viking, eliminating some of the assets, which ultimately would be a strategy. You can do that, and you'll have some of the ingredients or of the assets there that will have been sabotaged, but you still need an army.
Čau bráško, hele, potřebuji dobít hrát, ale nemám lidi. Můžu si vzít tvoje? Ne, já jich mám málo. Ale kdyby si mi pomohl s tímhle settlementem, tak ti je půjčím. OK. A jdeš jim pomoct vymlátit jeden settlement a pak máš lidi na ten velký settlement.
Will you not do the same?
What?
die in defense of a lost cause.
Yeah, so she's really using like the image and like the leadership that Oswald had, what he meant to the people in his name. She's going to recruit these people.
Já myslím, že bude na PS4.
Pretty words, Dane. But the men of Theovard have their own battles to fight.
To, že vychází v únoru, neznamená, že nebudou vycházet vždy ještě na staré konzole, protože 100 milionů lidí si nekoupí instantně v prosinci 2020.
Obviously these people have been run down by Ruud and the impact he's had on the territory, so I think a lot of these people have sort of lost hope. And so you need to show them that there is hope. And so here Eivor is basically helping them take back one of their prized locations by taking a couple men
minihru, vikingský rap minihru, ty distreky, tak ty nebyly, ty jsem v tom demu nenašel na party. Hrál jsem jako ožrávací minihru a lukostřelbu, když seš ožralej. A pak mrdání dalšího vikinga, když seš ožralej. Tak to jsem hrál všechno. Má tam výběr odpovědi nějaký význam, ale tady z toho cápka si mu můžeš odpovědět 3 způsobama a všechny 3 vedou do téhle vesnice, kdy vymlátíš ty frajery, aby si získal jeho týpky. Takže asi tolik k tomu, jo. Ale je možný, že u dalších questů si budeš moct vybrat, ale upřímně jako si myslím, že to bude dost podobný jako Odyssey, že jako některé úkoly půjdou udělat jinak, jako třeba v Odyssey byl ten quest na ostrově, jak tam byla ta typka a měla nápadníka a ten buď mohl umřít, nebo s ní zůstat, nebo odplout, nebo něco, tam byly 3 různý jako výsledky, jak to mohlo skončit.
The eagle vision from previous games, and we thought it was good to sort of bring that back. It's basically Eivor's intuition. It's how she perceives the world. When player uses that, it'll highlight basically interactive objects, like things that will bring her an advantage. So we'll have arrows, like health consumables that are in there. So it really is like a good way of sort of understanding the world and showing you like things that you can go and touch.
Proč se furt jmenuje Assassin's Creed? To nevím, no. Proč se furt Call of Duty jmenuje Call of Duty, když už několik dílů vás nevolali do povinnosti? To je tak nerealistický. To nedá žádný smysl.
And so depending what your preferred playstyle is or your preferred weapon type, then you can go and choose, I'm gonna fight with this weapon and invest heavily into that.
Not only are we looting weapons, but we see something here called the Book of Knowledge. Can you tell us a little bit more about that?
They unlock skills for the players. So here you can see the Valkyrie dive that has just been unlocked.
Dive of Valkyries, jakmile jsem si to odemknul, tak jsem to spamoval tuhle abilitu, protože ta byla OP, ta mě protáhnula skrz celý to demo. Že ty vyskočíš a dáš ránu do frajerů.
And invest in, put into your loadout, then go into the different locations with the different quests in the game and use those depending on what your playstyle is.
Now we've recaptured this village, we've secured more troops for our assault. Let's jump back now and figure out what we want to do.
2080 Ti nepořizoval. Já jsem si pořizoval 2080 Ti.
The rightful king of East Anglia has
proto, aby mi Warzone jel na 90 FPS. To neporovnávej Scott, to je střílečka, tohle je same bullshit bez asasínů. Asasíni tam jsou, stejně jako byli v Origins, stejně jako byli v Odyssey. Akorát to nejsou ty asasíni, který zrovna chceš, protože to logicky je trošičku jako v jinačí časový éře, než byl Ezio.
Eivor decided to let him live. Ruud is really angry about that. Being a Norse Viking, being put to the death in battle is your road to Valhalla. So
máš tam ptáka, který dělá drona, jako v Origins Odyssey, ano.
Obviously, all of these decisions come into play later on in the game, so we have very difficult decisions for the player to make. We didn't want to have easy decisions.
Yeah, you know, when I was playing, I decided to listen to Oswald and spare Ruud's life, but what exactly is the relationship like between Eivor and Oswald?
So the relationship between Eivor and Oswald is an alliance. It's basically Eivor is surrounded by territories that initially getting into England are hostile towards her, and obviously if you want to set up a new settlement, you want to make sure that your neighbor is friendly. So here in East Anglia, Oswald is the man for the job, where putting him into a position of power would help her sort of secure her territory territory. So earlier on to the territory, Eivor comes in here, meets Oswald. The problems he had with Red are sort of put to light, and going through the arc, you basically help him deal with Red and aligning basically Danes with Saxons in one territory.
Ale to je kvůli tomu, to a tady asi ne, protože když hraješ za ženskou, jak se jmenuješ Eivor, a když hraješ za chlapa, jak se jmenuješ Eivor. Takže tam asi jakoby ta druhá postava neexistuje. Jako v Odyssey, kdy ten tvůj bratr nebo sestra funguje.
That sounds great.
So we see a cat here with a speech bubble above it, and you best believe if you let me talk to a cat, I'm gonna talk to a cat.
Yeah, these are some of our some of my favorite moments actually in the game, where we put out a whole bunch of events throughout the territory, and it sort of rewards again exploration, going around. It's a chance for us also to sort of showcase a different side of Eivor. A lot of the quests sort of deal more with like politics and warfare, and this shows a slightly more human nature to her.
Ta postava je jedna, akorát si u ní vybereš pohlaví, no. Jsou tam jenom dvě pohlaví.
And so here, basically, like you're trying to help a kid with his cat, and ultimately get that cat to sort of join your crew as a cat raider.
You just said cat raider way too casually. You're telling me I could have a cat Viking raider on my longship?
That's exactly what I'm telling you.
Oh my god, yes, I love it. Perfect.
Kočka spí na tvojí váleční lodi.
As you're riding around the rivers of England, you would see a cat basically walking around your longship, keeping your Viking raiders company.
You know, speaking of the Viking longship, we're seeing some of that gameplay here now. Can you talk a little bit about how that works and functions in Valhalla?
Yeah, so starting out on this project, I think the Viking longship is one of the biggest images that we all have when we think about Vikings in our game. And so Vikings had this awesome design for longship that had a very shallow hull, so it permitted them to go very far inland very quickly, and you could basically disembark Viking raiders like on pretty much any shore. We added that into the game where you can basically sail up to any location and then just decide to disembark with your guys and raid a location, loot all his treasure, get back in the ship, and then continue sailing down the river to your next opportunity.
Já si jako z mých dojmů z toho, co jsem hrál, si myslím, že to pro mě bude jako taková ta oddechová hra, kterou si pustím, abych si dal pár settlementů, pár levlíčků a vylepšil pár zbraní, ale upřímně pochybuju, že tam bude silný příběh, který si budu pamatovat nějakou dobu po dohrání, protože už teď si nepamatuju, o co vlastně šlo v Odyssey a v Origins. A jako zahrál bych si to znova? Fakt ne. Ed Richard za prodanče. Hele, já jsem jediný, kdo tohle zrestreamuje a nemá za to zaplaceno. Ostatní mají hashtag ad, já nemám hashtag ad, bráško. Běž to psát na streamy, který mají ad, já za to nemám peníze. Já za to mám drops, sorry. Ubisoft mě nezaplatil a Metla mi to řekl až 3 hodiny předtím. Já bych si nechal zaplatit. Ale dostali jsme jiný deal.
Where you would like ride on your horse and you could pull out, have the horse sort of follow the track. We have a similar thing for the ship where you can put up your sails. It's cruise control for the ship, so you can pull back, take in the scenery, listen to some songs or some stories, and just take it all in.
So, you know, speaking of Viking
můžeš je nechat zpívat nějaký vikingský songy, nebo můžou říkat básničky a pohlát.
Yeah, so here what we have is what we call flighting, which was an activity that Norse people would partake in. They would like to have a battle of wits and
ten kluk ve Far Cry 6 je určitě vás, protože má tu jízdu. A já si nemyslím, že to je on, protože to nedává smysl, jakož vás jakoby se narodil na tom ostrově spolu s Citrou, jo. Což znamená, že tam nedává smysl, že by byl synem nějakého diktátora a pak by se v 15 letech nebo v kolika přesunul na ten ostrov. Jo, prostě časově to nesedí. Plus tu jízvu prej má ten herec, ten Michael Mando, co hraje toho Váse, ne ten jako Vás samotný.
The trick behind a good flight was to choose the right insult, identifying the right cadence, and then trying to find what rhymed the best.
Interesting. Interesting. Silent whispers all claim that you're terribly dense.
Then you've clearly misheard them. My wit is immense.
Oh, you looked out with that one. Well, what a surprise. Eivor of the Raven clan is a true talent.
Don't believe everything you hear, unless it touches on my flighting. Then heed every word.
Take the coin.
So now that we've proven our sharp tongue and wit, I think it's time for a bit more relaxing activity, so we're fishing here.
Yeah, that's it. So we gave Eivor fishing lines so you can actually throw out a line and go catch some fish. This is used basically to play into our new health loop where the player will lose health in the world and it doesn't automatically regenerate like we would have in the past. So you actually have to go out and get some supplies. So you'll find mushrooms and some food that you can gather. But here, like you can also catch some fish and consume that to regain some health. We also will sometimes have it in certain quests. So it's a good way to sort of chill out on the side of the water and just again, take it all in.
Ne, ty myslíš nehratelný pro tebe. To je něco jiného. Nehratelný by to bylo, kdyby to nemělo žádný titulky a žádný dubbing. Ale i tak bys musel zjistit, co říkají dle odezírání jejich srtů. Takhle to je nehratelný pro tebe. A pro spoustu lidí, kteří buď neumějí rychle číst, nebo neumějí tak rychle si překládat v hlavě, což takový lidi samozřejmě jsou, že jo, to chápu.
So it's just a way for us to sort of showcase that, like, the systems and the activities in the world can sort of play in with some quests and some little events. So it's our way to sort of dress up these moments and make it all fit inside the whole experience.
Jo, tady v každém regionu máte odklikávačku, kolik jste udělali tajemných lokací. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. To samý tam jsou poklady, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. A to samý settlementy, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 10. Takže abys udělal zrovna 100%, tak jdeš od otazníku k otazníku, jdeš od settlementu k settlementu, máš checklist. Takže tak nějak jako to, co by si čekal, no.
And it also showcases like a different facet of the world at the same time. It's not only Eivor, so it just widens the breadth of the stories that we can tell.
So who exactly are these two children?
These are kids of East Anglia. They are going through tough times with whatever Rued's been doing to the territory. And so they're just here trying to survive and basically exploit the people that are there to make offerings.
It was kind of nice to see that Eivor wasn't really necessarily upset at them for stealing.
Podle mě budeš hrát ve Far Cry 6 za Diega, což je syn toho diktátora. A ne, nebudeš, to už je potvrzený. Ty hraješ za Dannyho, nebo Danny, ta nebo ten. Hraješ za člena toho odboje. To už normálně je v popisu toho produktu.
Give a lot of this agency into players' hands so that they can sort of shape Eivor a little bit. Who she is, so it represents them a little bit more, and they can role play that a little bit better. And again, it just gives her like a little bit more humanity in these.
Far Cry 6 taky nebude v češtině, žádná velká Ubisoft hra nebude v češtině. Tam bylo udělané finanční rozhodnutí pro celý marketing, pro celý region. Na všechny hry jejich. Kromě Gods and Monsters, ty prý mají mít ještě češtinu, pokud to nezruší.
I will. Take care now, small green walkers.
So I think AC veterans might recognize this here, but
v Česku se hry hlavně kradou. Tak oni se kradou v každém regionu, jenom Česko je prostě malý. V Německu se taky kradou hry a je němčina, jenom prostě jde o to, že v Německu je násobně víc lidí, kteří to koupí, že jo, protože tam je násobně víc lidí celkově.
So are we going to be able to tattoo?
Byl o tom dobrý rozhovor na Vortexu a ještě byl jeden dobrý článek. Teď nevím kde, třeba o tom, jako kolik stálo přeložit Skyrim.
Fizz, one of my favorite things when I was just out there exploring East Anglia was coming upon a house or a building and realizing that there was a chest inside, but that there was no easy way in. And in this case, I saw all the doors were barred.
Ale byl jeden barák, do kterého se nedalo
There
dostat.
must have been some way to get inside. So I went around the back.
A když byl ve studni, tak jsem musel slítnout do studny.
Yeah, I'm glad you actually caught on to that.
Ty vidíš ty healing, pokaždý, co se ti naplní ten kruh, jak sbíráš ty kořeny, nebo ty borůvky a podobně, tak ti to přidá další číslo, to je jeden heal. Životy se neregenerují.
Appeals to you, like it draws your attention, and then when you want to come and explore, it's not given to you. You still have to work for it a little bit, so it'll challenge you on your observation skills, logic, just trying to find how do I get into this. So we play a lot with level design, quest design, to offer challenges to players, and you basically come out of it like with a better feeling for the exploration, but you also get to see more of a story behind any of these locations which we've crafted. So it gave us a little bit more time to sort of slow down the experience and tell a different version of a story.
Tady bude boss fight, protože u každých těchto umučených So,
yeah, I mean, speaking about exploration and just finding things out in the world, I was just wandering and came across this clearing and found this kind of morbid altar.
Yeah, so this is one of our bigger events that we have scattered in the world. So as Eivor explores, she can find altars like this, and by interacting with them, here it's a trap that's been set by this character named Regan. Now, there's a bigger story behind all this. There's multiple steps to it later on. So this is one of the moments. It permits us to go into a slightly more mystical realm and play with a boss fight that has more magical abilities, if we will.
Kam jsem letěl, abych si zahrál tuhle hru? Hele, byl jsem doma, protože je korona, takže jsem neletěl vůbec nikam.
And so here the abilities that you see Regan using are a little bit on the mystical side of things. What's happening is Eivor
přístup na Ubisoft servery,
Watch Dogs taky. Sort of hallucinating, seeing the world in a sort of different light and filter. And so that's sort of what lets us go into the realm of the weird.
Spirit of my father's rage, fill me!
Tyhle bossové mají dvě fáze. Tuhle zbraň jsem měl, tady boží, tenhle dřemdy. Ho vždycky jak krásně roztočíš, hromada damage.
So we just saw here that Regan belongs to something called the Daughters of Lyria?
Yeah, that's correct. By finding the other daughters, you'll get a little bit more backstory on who they are, so we don't want to spoil that too much. But it creates like a sort of greater story that is not on the main path in any way, but it's still very rich and adds to the lore of this world and actually plays into history.
So we just had a really exciting, really intense boss battle. I think it's time for something a little bit more relaxing and calming now.
Yeah, it's all about pacing yourself with the highs and the lows. So here we have a little chill moment of what we call building a cairn. So Eivor, as she explores the world, will find these sort of meditative areas where you have a pile of rocks that you could just stack on top of another using physics. And I mean, yeah, the ultimate goal is to try and get the highest pile of rocks, but really it's about taking in the sights, relaxing, taking a step back, and just building something.
Together we stack stones into cairns. These? Yes.
Jestli vám to droplo nebo ne, je buď na Twitchi na hlavní stránce v upozorněních, nebo na tom webu, na kterém se, nevím, jestli se tam už dá přihlásit, nebo je to furt v prdeli. Každopádně to upozornění může dorazit klidně až zítra.
I'm sure like a lot of these stuff will end up on the internet, like people comparing structures. And the cool thing is that once you've built it and you decide to get out of it, it sort of stays there, and so that's yours, right? And until the moment where you come back and you want to build a new one, it's sort of cool that we were able to
Šungit tam nebyl na vylepšování zbraní. Aspoň já jsem ho nenašel.
We've explored East Anglia, we've met some children, we've broken into a house, we've fought a boss, we've built a cairn. I think now it's finally time to go and head off to Oswald's wedding.
Yeah, so this is the moment it's all been building up to. By the moment you get into the territory, it's sort of like mentioned by Oswald.
Teďka už bude svatba. Čet, ukážu tu mrdačku.
Lady. And so
já vlastně on hraje za ženskou, jak to bude nuda.
That's sort of like the underlying thread. Really, it's about Rued creating turmoil in the territory and helping Oswald sort of get above that and show that he's a good leader. And so you finally, after going through all of that arc, finally get these two together, go through their wedding, and you're invited to attend the ceremony. And then all the activities and fun times that comes afterwards.
Yeah, as much as we've seen the brutal side of England, it's nice to see, you know, the joyous side of it as well.
Yeah, and it's something we really wanted to
Ta jeho manželka je doslova dvakrát větší než on.
Being a Viking is not only about being a raider or a warrior. I mean, there's revelry, there's feasting, there's partying that goes, and like if someone knows how to party,
tady je ta party mini hra, kde chlastáte z rohu a první, kdo spadne, tak prohrává.
A sort of Viking gathering is, and what's cool here
ne, vlastně vy si musíte pak hlídat, abyste nespadli, ale kdo to vychlastá dřív 3 rohy, tak vyhrál.
Sort of smashing those two things together and building bridges.
Yeah, I mean, what's a wedding without some drunk archery, right?
Yeah, so like, anything can happen in a Viking event, right? Eivor, yeah, here, you just get drunk, shoot some arrows.
Barely a challenge.
Steady all, and ready yourself for the wedding race. The king and his bride against all. My king,
So here we see the decision I made to spare Rued came back to bite us.
Když jste udělali rozhodnutí, že buď zabijete toho bose, nebo ne, a když ho ušetříte, tak ten kreten se vrátí na svatbu a musíte ho zabít znova. To jsou rozhodnutí, které mají dopad. A jsou přímo rozhodnutí, jestli někoho zabiješ nebo ne. Ale pak tam jsou dialogy, na které můžeš odpovědět různě, ale rozdíl nedělají.
Yeah, you know, personally, I chose to fight myself because I thought Eivor is the type of person who likes to finish what she started.
Plank by plank, and a dead king cannot keep his oaths. Let me finish this.
Oswald, you gutless Irish swine! I'll slay the wolf-kissed, then hang you with your own tongue.
How does this encounter with Rued differ from our previous fight with him?
So at this point, you've eliminated his wolf, so it's just him. And so he's angry at this point, and so he will start using his big gun abilities like fairly earlier on in the fight. So it's way more vicious.
Všimněte si, že nepoužívá žádnou tu abilitu vpravo, protože by ten souboj skončil za 3 sekundy, kde už takhle mu dává damage, jedna rána 10% HP. Kdyby použil jednu jedinou tu smash abilitu, tak mu vezmeš 1/3 životu, tak jsem to dělal já v tom demo. Jsem ho zabil v tomhle druhém fightu asi za 10 sekund.
And of course here, like, this is a decision you made to go and fight him, but there's multiple outcomes to this scenario. You could have let Oswald fight his own fight and prove
on to říkali, ten cápek, že mi zapnul tu polygonovou
tížnost. Eliminated Rued, obviously this would not have happened. It would have been a slightly more joyous occasion. But ultimately, in all scenarios, you still have an alliance with Oswald. He's proven to be the right leader for this territory, and to be a good ally for you.
I promised you an alliance, and now you have it.
And one day I will need you to make good on that alliance.
So we're about to take off from the wedding, but Eivor decides it's a good idea to check up on her friend Finner.
Yeah, so Finner is probably one of the more recurring characters in this arc. You get to meet him very early on. He's a very endearing character, sort of used to have a Viking life, sort of misses it, and going through all these adventures together. It's sort of like lights that fire back, and so he's willing to join you in your raiders. So he's one of many raiders that you'll encounter in the game, and you can sort of recruit, bring back home, and then have them sort of join you on your adventures on Longship. He can tell you these stories that we're telling you about. You get to know a little bit more about him. So again, it's a fun way to sort of discover more about these characters that you meet and bring them along for adventures.
Together. I'll gather my things.
Well, folks, we've come to the end of our Assassin's Creed Valhalla playthrough. Fizz, thank you so much for joining us. When and where can people play it?
Assassin's Creed Valhalla will be out on Xbox Series X and PlayStation 5, and is coming to Xbox One, PlayStation 4, PC, and Stadia on November 17th.